How to unlock your magnetic masculine power. So your masculine power and our sexual energy is so powerful. And there shouldn't be any shame. We're literally created from energy. Unlocking that power without settling, feeling disconnected. Sometimes in relationships, you can feel like, oh, this can be so draining, or this is a lot. When you start to disconnect or put walls and barriers up, and then we don't have that intimacy in the relationships, and things can't go as deep. We can't have that passion that we're really wanting when we are disconnected. Being able to feel connected, and we don't want to continue to endure unfulfilled desires. You can have so many desires, and we can long to experience something with more depth, more passion. And for you to want to feel desired, I've had clients share with me, is it's so frustrating when men may desire sex more often than women do. And I did an amazing podcast interview with Lee Davy, and we dove deep into the orgasm gap and what's really happening underneath that can cause women to not desire sex as often as men. You're a man who wants to increase your magnetism and really draw things to you. And it just doesn't have to be women. It can just be like things in the world, what you're wanting, what your goals are, what your desires are, and also increasing your energy. Are you feeling drained? Are you feeling sluggish? Are you feeling disconnected from the world? You want to be more confident, or I say confident, in the bedroom and beyond, because how we show up in the bedroom is how we show up in the boardroom, is how we show up in the Zoom room. How we do one thing is how we do everything. And when you master this area of your life, it's so powerful. My clients tell me all the time, I had no idea that unlocking this piece of my life was going to be the thing that unlocked everything. Our whole world unlocks and there's so much shame around our sexuality, our expression. So we will dim our sexual energy, dim our desires, because also there's a lot of pressure in the world to be the nice guy, for women to feel safe. It is important for women to feel safe. But if we're not shining our light, if we're not being in our full essence, our fullest expression, we can't really be felt. And it's impacting how we're received in the world. So my clients say, wow, when I unlock this piece of my life, it unlocks so many different areas of my life. People will do all this self-work in all these other areas in their lives and won't do this, and they'll come to me for this, and then boom, things just take off in their business and relationships, and not just sexual relationships. For me, with Tantra, whenever I started having these changes, it improved the relationships I have with my coworkers, my friends, my family, all across the board, because the relationship you have with you, that's the determining factor. Tantra helped me have a healthy relationship with myself. And when I began doing that, all my relationships around me became healthier, because other people, especially your lover, they're just mirrors, and they're mirroring and reflecting back to us the relationship that we have with ourselves, whether we like it or not. So if we're not liking what they're showing us, we have to really sit with that too. What is this wanting to teach me? Things unlock when we start to change that relationship, how we relate to ourselves. Are we connected to ourselves? And when we can be our own best lover, we become better lovers. And wanting to be desired, we all love, not just women, men too. We all long to be desired. That's such an amazing feeling. In our modern world, we can be so disconnected from these things. If you're tired of feeling controlled by your sexual urges, you're tired of feeling frustrated and defeated by challenges in the bedroom, being in control of sexual urges. I also support men that have challenges with porn addiction or ejaculating so frequently that you're feeling drained, because you're literally draining your life force energy when you ejaculate more frequently. You may not be aware of that. If you're feeling controlled of your urges and you feel like that is running the show, instead of you being able to focus in on like your projects, your purpose, your other passions outside of the bedroom, you can be leaking energy, even leaking sexual energy, more energy for success in love and in life. And these things also help you tap into your creative genius. I work with neuroplasticity, which has to do with your brain. Your brain is your largest sex organ. And with neuroplasticity, we want to create longer pleasure pathways, new ways of how we start doing things. Things we become habitual when we continue to do things the same way all the time. Again, how we do one thing is how we do everything, how we show up in the world. You can use sexual energy for more success, again, more creativity and passion in your life. We have these energy centers in our bodies that are called chakras. And there's these little spinning wheels of energy, and they're related to different areas in our bodies that are related to different organs. The sacral chakra, which is around our navel area, that one is connected to our sexual energy, but also to our creativity. The sacral chakra, it's connected to our mouth. It's a pleasure center as well. and it's connected to our mouth and also to our sex organs. A lot of times, if you see people that are suppressing their sexuality and their sexual energy, or women that are not having sex anymore or being celibate, will turn to food to stimulate those centers. We've heard women say, oh my gosh, this tastes better than sex. They're stimulating that sacral chakra. If you're not having sex with yourself, have self pleasure, because pleasure is medicine. So just knowing how this energy helps with your vitality, it's your chi, it's your life force energy, and how you can channel it. We were created from this, but you can create a whole new life for yourself with it. You don't just have to create a human life with it. You don't need to fuck like a porn star to be an epic lover. Honestly, porn stars aren't that great in bed. It is acting. A lot of people don't get that. You can actually have better sex than what you would see in a porno whenever you learn these things. In our society, we just think porn star, we equate it with a celebrity, or they must be really good at it. They're getting paid to do that. They're getting paid to act. And the female stars are also actresses. They're not always enjoying it as much as you think in those movies. You can experience a passionate life of being empowered by your sexual energy and no longer controlled by it. Men that are able to control and master that sexual energy, they're more focused men, and focused men are successful men. You don't want your sexual energy running the show for you. I had a lover before that I had 20 orgasms with him. This was before Tantra, and he shared with me later, I was thinking of math equations in my head so I wouldn't finish too fast. I never could figure out why I didn't want to be with him again, because I had 20 orgasms. When I started learning Tantra over a decade later, I realized, oh my goodness, it was that he was disconnected from me, even though he was physically with me and he was being performative, which that's a lot of what people think sex is about now. He wasn't really present and dropped in, and women were very intuitive. So I couldn't really feel him being present because he was distracting himself. So that made me not want to be with him again. You can last a long time through a medication or Viagra, but if you don't know how to be fully present, you're missing out on a lot, and women aren't going to desire you as much because they really long for that. That's the biggest gift, especially in our fast-paced world. We're constantly distracted and everything is hooking our attention. I am Dominique D'Vita. I'm a registered nurse, master intimacy coach, and I help men tap into their sexual energy to unlock a level of creativity that makes their love life and their businesses take off. You just whole new levels. I'm on a mission to inspire men to tap into their sexual energy and inner greatness and go make their impact on the world. It's so bizarre to me that there's so much shame around this, because we were literally created from sexual energy. There should be no shame in such creation. We don't have to just create a human life with our sexual energy. This is a great way to set a reset button and tap into this energy to recreate things in our lives. Because if our life started from this space, wouldn't that be the exact energy to dive into, to recreate our life for ourselves, to start a new path, to begin anew? For me, whenever I had a lover that had mastered Tantra and he knew how to separate his orgasm from his ejaculation, he did a lot of meditative practices, which are white Tantra. He could be fully present and tapped in. Whenever he was able to do that, I had experiences of pleasure that I never knew were possible. And a lot of men don't know that you can have sex like this, because what do we do when we don't get the right sex education? Out of curiosity, even I have, you look at porn. We think that's what we're supposed to be doing. Those are the professionals, right? So men continue to try to have sex this way, and it's really dumbing us all down as to what we can experience, and sex becomes performative. And it's so much deeper than that. We could experience so much more. Just like when you watch porn, you wouldn't go and learn how to drive by watching the Fast and Furious movie. You're not going to go and try that. And there should be a warning of do not try this at home, because that's really not what women desire. We have a big orgasm gap in our modern world because men are understanding women's desires, and you're trying to have sex in a way that you think is what women would want, because women seem to be enjoying it when they're acting, but it's not. Men, what you're able to offer your lover is so much more profound and powerful than what you think. Women really crave that. If you could have sex like this, women would be bugging the men for more, but it's that men are usually doing sex in a way that isn't what women want. If women can experience these amazing healing levels of pleasure in our bodies, And if you know how to really connect and be present there with them, it's going to be so deeply healing for you as well, because you'll see how powerful you are. And you can experience a level of pleasure and share that with someone that you never even knew was possible. It's literally life changing. And it changed my life a decade ago. To unleash your magnetic sexual power, when that's unleashed, you're a man, you're going to radiate confidence and magnetism, and you embody that raw sexual energy. And we know that energy that can be felt, like when we're completely in our turn on and we're lit up with it and we're not feeling shame or disconnected from it or repressing it, suppressing it down. And then your aura can be felt whenever you enter a room. When people enter a room, sometimes people enter a room and you're like, oh, I'd really like to know that person. But you can feel the energy of the room shift because our auric field is 3 to 4 feet around us. If our chakras and our energy centers are fully open, then we're increasing that vibration with our auric field and we're raising that. And practices help you to be able to do that so you can actually be felt and shift the energy in the room. It's like you bringing your own weather instead of you being under the influence of someone else's weather. What is the energy? How are you showing up? And you magnetize things to you. My clients are like, wow, women are just coming up to me. It's really amazing. So you embodying, you're comfortable with that. But a lot of times in our modern world, we all, men and women, we're disconnected from our sexual energy and we operate like robots, where you're operating from the neck up. And when you're overthinking, you're underfeeling. I love this quote by Paulo Coelho. Anyone who is observant knows that sexual energy comes into play before sex even takes place. Again, he wrote the amazing book called The Alchemist. But that sexual energy can be felt and that desire can be felt. That's palpable. And when you're really comfortable with your own sexual energy, your life force, your chi, your vital force energy within you, right? And you know how to have that dance with that, then you're able to feel the energy of your lover. And even though they can communicate with you what their desires are, sometimes you can intuitively feel into what they're wanting. And lovemaking goes to all new levels. Why it's important that you understand this is that when you're frequently ejaculating, because ejaculation for men drains their life force energy. I want you to think about like the battery when you're constantly draining that energy down. For women, we lose our life force energy, our chi energy through pregnancy, childbirth, menstruation. Males lose that energy through ejaculation. That's why after sex, you'll see that men will quickly fall asleep, whereas women will be more talkative. And if you are constantly ejaculating, then you're draining yourself. You're not showing up to the world in your most creativity. That's why professional boxers or Muhammad Ali, they for a big match, they wouldn't have sex because you don't have that extra oomph to go in at life and the goals and the things you're passionate about. Even subconsciously, sometimes if men pull away right after sex from a woman, it's your body, all the cells and all the fluid that just released from your body, how many lives could that have created? So you're having to rebuild that reserve. So that's why they believe for men and women that on average, the lifespan for women is longer. The Taoist beliefs, which is very similar to Tantra practices as well. The Taoist and Chinese and Eastern medicine is that the reason the lifespan for women is longer than men is because of frequent ejaculation, and you diminish the vitality. It impacts how you show up in the world, if you show up in the full power. And I've spent thousands of hours studying that and different techniques and practices that can transform your life and your business, because it helps you to thrive and make a positive impact in the world with your magnetism, because you're literally start drawing things to you, like law of attraction. And this was talked about in the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, published almost 100 years ago. One of the top self-help books on business. Even I get pushback talking about sex now. Can you imagine then him trying to talk about it? And he dedicated a whole chapter, but this book was based on him talking to the wealthiest, most successful people in this time period and doing studies and seeing what were their habits, what were the things that they were doing that had them be so successful. A lot of them talked about sexual transmutation, channeling their sexual energy and desires into other areas of their lives. And it's believed that Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison, Steve Jobs, that they knew how to do this as well, because it helps you tap into your creative genius. Nikola Tesla spent time in India, which is where Tantra is from. So Tantra helps you with these sexual transmutation practices, and it does increase your magnetism as well. Now, why so many young men are single and sexless? Relationship trends are jeopardizing intimacy skills. The way we modern day dating is really can be lacking in so many areas. And this was taken from Psychology Today. Recent research shows that over 60% of young men are currently single, and sexual intimacy is at a 30-year low across genders. Men must prioritize real life relationships and attune to those shifts because women have started to prioritize this already. Women have been doing a lot of their work, and I know there's a lot of women that still need to do their work, and it can be a really hot mess. And I used to be one of those women. So it's not to shame anyone, but a lot of women are been doing a lot of work or getting therapy and working on themselves. And so they're raising the bar of what the expectation that they have are in men, and realizing that we don't want to continue these unhealthy cycles and relationships. So you're seeing much lower rates of marriages because people are taking a step back from modern day dating. Or if you feel like one-to-one coaching, you can request like a complimentary discovery call and see if we're fit to work together. Have an amazing evening, everyone.